Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. There are moments that don't need words. No dialogue, no explanation, yet are powerful enough to make us pause and ask, wait, this isn't a coincidence, is it? Today, we're going to talk about the moments when Jimin and Jungkook stand so close that the distance between them almost disappears. And most importantly, not once does either of them choose to step away. This isn't about almost kissing. This is about the silence they share. And what that silence reveals. Jimin and Jungkook move close to each other again. Not merely standing side by side, not a brief coincidence that can be brushed off. They come so close that the distance between their faces nearly vanishes, until the space between their lips feels fragile, almost non-existent. And they do it in front of everyone. Without hesitation. Without trying to hide. Without fear. This isn't a moment that happens once and passes as something strange. Nor does it happen twice and still count as coincidence. Scenes like this appear again and again with an almost identical pattern. As if there's something they naturally repeat, something written by no one other than their own feelings. Not choreography, not a script, but a consistent, calm, and honest emotional response. What's being shown isn't just physical closeness. It's not about how close their bodies are, but about how that closeness happens, with the same intention every single time. When Jungkook stands that close to Jimin, close enough that anyone might think a kiss is just one step away, there is something far more important than that possibility itself. Jimin doesn't move away. He stays there, silent. No instinctive step backward. No stiffening of the shoulders. No nervous smile to deflect attention. He simply stands there as if waiting. And that is where the true meaning resides. Because when someone doesn't want that kind of closeness, the body reacts before the mind can come up with excuses. There will be small movements to create a safe distance. But between Jimin and Jungkook, those reactions never appear. What exists instead is a pause. A silence heavy with emotion. Seconds in which they remain still, as if both understand that the boundary is there, and that it could be tested. And this isn't only about Jungkook always being the one who steps closer. There are many moments when it's Jimin who takes the first step. He shortens the distance without hesitation, without awkwardness, without any sign of wanting to pull away. He chooses to come closer. And Jungkook accepts it completely. He doesn't retreat. He doesn't turn his face away. He stays right there, looking at Jimin with eyes that seem to wish time would slow down. All of this feels like choreography that keeps repeating, yet without music, without counts, without awareness of an audience. Every time it happens, the air around them feels different. Their bodies lean toward each other, and anyone watching can sense that this isn't planned. It's born from honesty. When someone wants to hide their feelings, they avoid. They laugh to cover it up. They move to distract. But when someone stops denying what they feel, they let everything show, even in the smallest details. And that's the core of all these almost kissing moments between Jimin and Jungkook. Not just the physical distance between them, but everything they express without saying a single word. Their gestures speak. Their gazes explain. Their silence is the most honest form of communication. This is what Jikookers have understood for a long time. They don't need an official declaration. Because Jikook is confirmed in every gaze that lasts a little too long, in every silence they choose to share together. In front of millions of people, they continue to show that what exists between them feels real. At one concert, there was a moment that made the entire arena seem to stop breathing. This time, Jungkook wasn't the one who moved first. It was Jimin who ran toward him. A spontaneous decision, without hesitation, without looking back. Jimin's gaze in that moment wasn't playful. It wasn't meant to provoke cheers from the crowd. His approaching face said everything. His body language was open, honest, without armor. All that remained was Jungkook's response. And Jungkook, as he always does, didn't leave. He stood there, looked into Jimin's eyes, waited, as if he knew this moment was different. Sometimes they stay still for a few seconds. And that kind of silence can only exist when the feelings are real. A connection like this can't be faked. You can see it in how relaxed their faces are, in the way the world around them seems to disappear. This isn't just friendship. The way Jimin approaches without fear. The way he stands so close and waits. All of it speaks far louder than words that are never spoken. Then there's another moment, one that shatters any remaining doubt. When Jimin cries in front of millions of people. Completely open. Completely vulnerable. And Jungkook's response comes without delay. He moves closer without thinking twice. He wraps his arms around Jimin from behind. A hug that doesn't seek the camera, doesn't care about the audience. His focus is singular. Jimin. He leans in close to Jimin's ear, placing a gentle kiss nearby. A gesture that is intimate, warm, and entirely sincere. And once again, Jimin doesn't move away. He lets it happen as if they're alone in the world. Something like this is only possible when there is complete trust and genuine affection. When this kind of comfort happens again and again, it is no longer coincidence. It is proof of a bond built over time, with history, depth, and safety. Because sometimes the most powerful thing isn't the kiss itself, but the tension of two people standing just millimeters apart, choosing to wait for each other. If it happens once, it might be dismissed. But when it happens repeatedly, with the same pattern, the same calmness, and the same emotion, it is no longer coincidence. It is proof that Jikook exists, that it's real. And the hardest detail to fake is their facial expression. Jimin's gaze that always softens. Jungkook's focus that never wavers. No nervousness. No awkwardness. They are simply present, fully, for each other. When are you sure? 2 arrives, all these fragments find their place. There's no excessive drama. The camera just follows. Time is allowed to flow naturally. And in that honest space, their closeness speaks again. In the simplest yet most powerful way. There's no grand stage. Just 2 people who are used to sharing space, rhythm, and silence. Sitting close. Moving as if their bodies know each other by heart. Small laughs. Eye contact. Then stillness. And it's in that stillness that everything feels most real. This closeness doesn't need a climax. It's built from quiet repetition. From comfort that doesn't need explanation. And that's where the answer lies. Jimin and Jungkook never explain anything. They only show it. With consistency, calmness, and honesty. Because sometimes what's most real isn't a confession, but the distance that's allowed to remain close. If you feel it too, you already know the answer. Thank you for watching Jikook Moments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. See you in the next moment.